Okay. We should be live now? I believe so, at least. Hopefully, microphone's all working. Streamlabs is telling me that my mic is working this time, so... Anyways, how's it going, everyone? My name is Mitchell Mander, and welcome to a live discussion of Pokemon Horizons episode 61. Roy versus Ryme, in which Roy ends up not only losing the battle, but also failing his Terastal implementation test. So, yikes. Anyways, before we get started here, I just want to say if you're someone that's brand new to the channel, it'd be pretty cool if you subscribe to the channel, like the video, watch the stream as much as you can. All that good stuff. It really does help. And if you are brand new, what we do here is I usually give it a couple minutes for people to show up. Once we get a few people in, I will begin talking about the episode, giving my thoughts, assign a rating, and then I give it over to the chat, hand it over to you guys, to the people that are here, and then we have typically a good old discussion. I will just say really quickly before I go any further, we did have a little bit of an incident last stream. So, just to address that really quickly, I just want to say that if you're coming here and, you're here for, the chat with everyone, my expectation is that, you're getting along with everyone and you're not causing problems with other people. We can have our disagreements, but, which is fine. We can agree to disagree, but if you're going to go out here and, either make accusations or, call out certain people or just start fights in general, then that's not welcome here. You will get a warning for the first offense. Anything further than that and you will be timed out. If it continues, then you will be blocked. So I just wanted to make that very clear because we did have an issue last time, and I kind of want to set some rules now so that we don't repeat that. If that all makes sense to you, if we're all good, then good. Also, if you're someone that shows up and, comes to my Discord, my expectations is that you follow the rules and you're respectful to everyone. We've had a few people that have come in and demanded the episode and wanting a link to it or something like that, and that's not acceptable either. So, yeah, just make sure you're, just be respectful, yo. We're just here for a good time. Anyways, we have 11 people here. So, what's up, y'all? Thank you so much. If you could hit that like button, I'd definitely appreciate it. Let's see who we got here. We have Youngji. Is it Youngji Shi? Hi, what's up? Welcome in. Pokefan, hey, what's up? Super Plush Productions, hey, what's up? Rajith, what's up? I feel sad for Roy for failing the test. I'll get into that in a second. I'm still trying to figure out my thoughts on this episode because I'm conflicted on my actual thoughts on this episode. This is probably the most conflicted I've felt on an episode in a long time. But I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday. Or potentially Sunday if you're on another part of the world. So you guys can feel free to give your thoughts on the episode. I'm going to start in about a minute. Do you think it'll be a 2v2 battle in episode 62? I would like that, to be completely honest. I getting ahead of myself, but that was one of the things that I was a little bit bummed out when it came to this battle. I really think that they should have just followed the games and did a double battle. I think that would have been cool, but yeah. I think it would be super cool if it was a double battle. Technically, they weren't at the gym when they had this battle, so I thought that was interesting. But maybe. That would be cool. I'd be down. Alrighty, we're coming up to the 5-minute mark, so I'm officially going to start talking about my thoughts on episode 61 on Pokemon Horizon. So, to summarize, the episode starts off with our gang arriving in town, in Fridge Town. I don't know, I like it. It's a town, it's a snowy village, but it's also kind of a ghost town because a lot of spirits there, you know, reside and they depart via the sky. Also, Terapagos almost got drift-loomed away as well, so that was a little silly moment in the episode. First part of the episode is kind of inconsequential. They're just there looking for Ryme, and they run into a bunch of Grievards and end up getting their life force drained, which I thought was funny. Of course, Terapagos ends up almost getting taken away and almost falls completely smashing into the ground. And it's thanks to Nimona that he was saved. So Terapagos keeps getting himself into trouble all the time. But moving on to the actual meat and potatoes of the episode, we come up to the concert that's going on. The kids were informed that there was a concert going on, and Ryme is actually going to be hosting the concert. Pretty much, she's a rapper, obviously. So yeah. I think it's funny that when Roy sees Ryme, he's like, "Oh my gosh, I know her! That's the trainer I was telling you I met that one time. I didn't dream it. I actually met her." But we start off with I guess the concert starts out with some battles, kind of like in the games. But we have Roy versus Moist Critical, literally Moist Critical. I'm just going to keep calling him that because that's literally just looks like the dude. But anyways, Roy ends up beating him pretty easily. Ryme sees this, and the interesting thing is that Roy has a song with Fuecoco. And this becomes kind of a theme throughout the episode where Ryme's kind of questioning Roy in his song. He's like, what does it mean to Terastal? What does this song mean to you? What does this all mean? And he kind of just keeps doing the same thing. Now, for Roy versus Ryme, she starts out with her Houndstone, and here's the thing: is the one gripe I have with this battle is that Kilowattrel shows up and it immediately gets taken out. And yeah, this is not what I wanted to see at all. Hopefully, in the rematch, it gets some redemption here. But that was not good, yo, not good at all. At least Fuecoco shows up and redeems Kilowattrel and ends up taking out Houndstone. Actually pretty cleverly. However, Ryme takes out Toxtricity, and that's kind of where the battle shifts in Ryme's favor. And it keeps using Overdrive, and nothing Roy does works at all. So... And Ryme is just questioning Roy, and not to mention he's doing the same song over and over again. Even Nimona is kind of starting to catch on that, Roy is using the same tactic over and over again. And obviously it's not working after a while, because they're like, oh yeah, this is the song that Roy uses to win all the time, even though Roy's only gotten one W in the series so far. But obviously they're catching on to the fact that he keeps doing that, and it's clear he's clearly not quite in sync with his Pokemon. He's not really thinking outside the box. So Ryme is just pressuring him and questioning him, left and right. And out of desperation, he terrestrializes Fuecoco. And, yeah, it ends up getting taken out pretty easily. So, not only does Roy lose the battle, but he loses, or he fails the terrestrial implementation test. Because he terrestrializes Pokemon out of desperation, and he did not use it at the right moment. He was using it to turn the tides of the battle, but by that point, it was pretty much all set in stone that Roy was going to lose. So he ends up failing, so he has to do a rematch with Roy in the next episode. So that's pretty much where the episode ends, with Roy, he essentially got called a failure. Pretty harsh, but hopefully Roy can pick himself up and win in the rematch. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Like I said, this one I'm very conflicted on. First part of the episode is kind of alright. I'm very disappointed with Kilowattrel. I'm really hoping that it gets something, even though Fuecoco and Roy, their song is going to be the focal point of next week's episode. So, like, yeah, I don't see Kilowattrel doing much in the rematch. As disappointing as that sounds, I'm kind of let down. I'm not going to lie, guys. I want some redemption for this Pokemon, because oh my gosh, I am just beyond frustrated with it at this point. I don't want it to end up like one of those Pokemon that are wasted potential in the series, but at the rate this is going, this is not looking good, yo. And the thing about it is, Wattrel evolved into Kilowattrel, and it kind of felt like it kind of evolved for the purpose of this battle, and it just jobbed. So I kind of had to get that off my chest, because that was a big issue I had with the episode. But the one thing I will say that I think is good here is that I actually like the fact that one of them actually failed their test. That was actually something that I kind of wanted to happen. Just because it's like they're kind of just all passing, and even though they're losing, they're still passing. But I kind of wanted one of them to, you know, get something out of this, and I think failing is going to really help Roy here. I think this is actually something that Roy's definitely needed. It's going to show that even though him and Fuecoco have that bond and that song, there's got to be more than that. They're kind of just doing the same thing over and over again, and after a while it's just not going to work. You can do that over and over again, but is it going to win you the battle like every single time? No. So I like the fact that Roy lost here. It's going to show that he needs to really work on his bond with Fuecoco and actually, you know, think outside the box and come up with some pretty good strategies for the rematch. So, I think that part is good. So we're gonna get some major Roy development. You know, I mean, these whole 3 episodes are Roy development, which I think is much needed for Roy at this point. Because if he's gonna, you know, eventually catch Rayquaza, he needs to like overcome these walls. So, yeah, that's one thing I will say that is good. This is going to lead to some good development for Roy, but I feel like the battle was kind of flimsy, in my opinion. I kind of felt like Dot versus Larry was kind of flimsy as well, but I think this one was kind of more apparent. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I feel about this episode. I want to say it's like a good 7 or 8, honestly. But like the first part of the episode was kind of slow. Kilowattrel's defeat really kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. That especially. So for me, it's like a 7 or 6, honestly. So we'll see if next week's episode can kind of pull things together and, you know, end things on a good note. I kind of feel like at this point Roy needs to win his battle against Ryme. Because, this was a bad loss. And I guess the pattern just continues because I said Dot lost both of her gym battles, but won against the Elite Four member. Roy won against Brassius, but then he lost this gym battle and lost against Hashel. So is Liko going to win against Grusha? Who knows? We'll see if that pattern sticks, but then again, the pattern's kind of breaking a little bit here since Roy is rematching Ryme. I kind of feel like he has to win in the rematch. Otherwise, like, it just wouldn't... how do I say this? It just wouldn't feel right if Roy lost again, even if he passed the test. I don't know if it's going to be a 1v1 or 2v2. I don't know exactly what... It kind of has to be 2v2, technically, since, you know, that's the point of the test. It's 2v2. So, hopefully Kilowattrel gets a little bit of redemption. At least something. Like, take out Houndstone. Or just do something, man. I know that Roy and Fuecoco is going to be the main focus of the episode, so we'll see what happens. So I'm going to lean on like a 7, 6.5. It's kind of where I'm feeling for this episode. Okay. Anyways, now I can get caught up with the chat. Do you think that, or YouTube? Okay, I think I read that one already. I totally agree with the rules in place. Again, I'm sorry for the issue regarding my observation. All I'm gonna just say right now, PokeFan, that really wasn't your fault. You had no intentions there. You had no intention to cause issues. It's just someone took issue with your comment and made it out like you were calling everybody else out, which to me made no sense. So you technically did nothing wrong in that regard, but there is something I do want to bring up to you at some point down the road regarding what happened. Nothing like it's nothing I'm mad at you for. It's just something I'd like to point out at some point. I'll probably open my DMs at some point and I'll reach out to you at some point. Just an FYI. Yeah, baby. Always doing stuff. Yep. He's not moist critical, he's frosty critical. I see. I like the rap songs in the episode. Ryme. Ryme's got good flow. I like it. Kilowattrel getting shafted every turn, unfortunately. The only reason Kilowattrel lost was because Roy was spamming Spark. Which is another thing that Roy needs to work on. He needs to train with both of his Pokemon, not just Fuecoco. Because it's obvious he kind of failed in that regard too. That's a good point that you brought up there. Super Plush Productions. Honestly, I feel like if this continues, then Roy shouldn't have caught it at all to begin with. Realistically, it's almost like it would have been better off with its flock. I don't want to necessarily say it's like better off with its flock. It's just that like how do I say this? Like, the characters only have 2 Pokemon, technically. I'm not counting Terapagos as like under Lico's ownership or any of the hero Pokemon. Just they have 2 Pokemon, and like their secondary Pokemon just don't get the development that they need or deserve. Like, again, I've said this before, but like the starters, like I like the starters, but like they are just like kind of just taking up all the screen time from like all the other Pokemon in the series. And I get that they're the starters, but like kind of have other Pokemon you need to advertise and don't just catch the Pokemon and then they just don't do much. Like Hatena at least has the excuse of being more present than Wattrel, but it just gets kind of frustrating because it's like, dude, why even catch them in the first place? But like another thing that bothers me too is that I kind of feel like Hatena and Wattrel kind of evolve for the plot's sake, because the part 2 of Terastal course involves 2v2 battles. So what's Hatena gonna do in a 2v2 battle? Just heal Florgato and just do that the whole time? What if it gets taken out? You know what I mean? So how do you solve that? Evolve it. And now it's actually super strong suddenly. And then you have Killer Wattrel, who's still not super strong and has struggles with flying. What do? Just evolve it. So then the logic is like it's going to be ready for the upcoming battle, and then this happens. Why even evolve it if it's going to just job like that? I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be negative or anything. It's just, man, the fact that everybody like that I see talk, like the general consensus is that, you know, we want to see more from Kilowattrel or Wattrel, and then stuff like this happens, yeah, and people are disappointed. It kind of just shows that that's a glaring issue in the series that I think a lot of people kind of have an issue with. I will say that I was not expecting this to happen in the episode. My expectation was this is going to be a two-parter battle, where it would start in this episode and then end in the next episode. I was not expecting Roy to just straight up lose, and then fail the test. That took me by surprise, I will say. I was not going in this episode and expecting that. So that was kind of the one thing that was surprising. That was probably the most surprising thing in the episode. I give it a 6.7 out of 10. Yes, sir. Liko needs to keep an eye on Terapagos. Yeah. We are almost already seen every Gen 9 Pokemon already, according to the checklist. Really? Interesting. Yo, Kevin, what's up? I can't believe Roy lost, but at the same time, it makes him improve. Does Roy rematch her next episode? Yes. In the preview, you see that they're I think at the end of the preview, they're battling again. First part of the episode is training, and then part of the episode is the battle, the rematch. Do you think Kilowattrel is getting more screen time? It's getting more, but like, just it's one thing to, you know, show up, which is fine, but to, you know, be involved with like battles and stuff, like, it needs more involvement, not just Fuecoco, if that makes sense. The starters are the ones that are getting the most focus here. I get it, they're the starters, but like, if you're gonna catch other Pokemon, like, don't just shaft them. And it looks like going to be the one-on-one base on the preview. It would be kind of strange if it was 1v1, just because like these implementation tests are 2v2. So I just hope that the battle isn't rushed. It felt a little flimsy in this episode. I feel like we need a little bit more time with the battle. Honestly, really feel like we might be getting an evolution with that red glow from the preview. Yeah. Yeah, like Fuecoco has a really strong chance of evolving, but what do you guys think? I'd say like its chances of evolving have slightly decreased, but not a ton. I'd say there's probably still a 60% chance that Fuecoco evolves. I really think it should, though, because, I mean, technically we did see it in merchandise. So, unless that's someone else's Pokemon, pretty sure Roy's going to be evolving as Fuecoco. I think it's Crocolar. I guess we'll see. I just need that. I just need a flashback sequence of Roy and Fuecoco singing over time. Just please give me that. That'll make the episode. By the way, I was saying yes, sir, to the DM thing. I'll do whatever you need, no problem. Okay, gotcha. I'll let you know. I'll probably just at you on Discord. I'll just have my DMs open temporarily for that, and then once we're done, I'll close them back up, but yeah. I feel like the next episode is going to be very rushed. We probably need one more episode. One for training, one for battle. You know, that's a good point. I kind of feel like that should be the case, where they have, like, an episode focused on training, then rematch. It's kind of like when, you know, Ash lost the final gem in X and Y. And then the next episode, him and Greninja kind of had that development. And then they had the rematch. Could be like that. Oh yeah, by the way, I do have a slight cold, so it sounds like I'm a little stuffy here, that's why. Imagine getting a cold in the middle of summer. What would you think if Kilowattrel took out more of Ryme's Pokemon? I would like it to get revenge on Houndstone. That would be cool. Or Toxtricity, I don't know. I was hoping that those two would kind of duke it out, but whatever. Feels like Toxtricity and Fuecoco is kind of not the best matchup. But then again, Fuecoco took out Houndstone pretty easily. So who knows? Ash's Litten had the red glow when it evolved into Torcat. That's a good point. That might be the case. I gotta rewatch the preview then. Imagine it goes Crocolar. Bruh. That would be shocking. Do they really have time to 2v2 in the rematch if half the episode is going to be training? I mean, they did 2v2 in the second half of this episode. I feel like the episode is going to be super, super rushed. My thoughts exactly. That's what I'm worried about. I kind of, when I was looking at that, I'm like, man, like, the episode we got last week was nice, but, like, I almost feel like, part of this episode could have been, you know, that episode. Then we could have had the training episode and then rematch. I hope it ends up working all out well, but I am a little bit concerned going in this episode. Yeah, the training can't take up the whole thing. Gonna have to maybe rush. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you. Houndstone maybe had Fluffy. Maybe. If Wattrell did not evolve in episode 62, you mean 52? I think it would have been one-shotted by Houndstone. Maybe. Probably. Oh, gotcha. Kind of have a weird feeling it won't evolve next week, but the title infers to it. Yeah, that's why a lot of people are like, yeah, it's evolving. Plus, like, there's kind of a pattern that's been going on. Fluffy makes you weak to fire. Yeah, it wasn't really stated in the episode, but that could be why Fuecoco took it down so easily. But, there's kind of a pattern, though, because, like, for all of the Pokemon that evolved so far, Spiridido and Quaxley, they got distributions. Mystery gift distributions. So, and not long after they got their distribution, they ended up evolving. And I think they happened, like, within, like, the month of them getting it. And I think Fuecoco just got his distribution, so an evolution would more than likely follow, unless they decide to hold off on it and then make it towards the end of this arc. Who knows? I feel like this is the if it's gonna evolve, this is like the one place where it should happen. If that makes sense. I feel like Kilowattrel should have at least learned a new move. Yeah. If it had a little bit more fighting time in the battle. I just kind of have to lower my expectations for Kilowattrel now, unfortunately. Usually when Ash lost the first time, it ends up winning the second time. The only exception to that was Brandon. Because didn't Ash like lose like twice, or I think twice to Brandon before finally winning. Did it defeat Houndstone or did she just recall it? Fuecoco beat it. He point blank hit him with Flamethrower. We're just plot because, oh, we're doing so well. So I think Roy is going to win in episode 62. He has a pretty high chance of winning at this point. Do you think Coral or Sidon will show up next or in the Grusha episodes? I don't know if they're going to show up in the Grusha episodes. They might. Maybe spying on Liko to see what she's up to. Otherwise, we'll see them towards the end of this arc. That red glow, I think Fuecoco is activating Blaze. Can Fuecoco learn Blaze? Does it have Blaze? That's a good point. It does have Blaze. Okay. If it defeated Houndstone, why did she not pass him? Did she really expect him to defeat both of her Pokemon? She didn't pass him because he didn't... The point of the Terastal course is to make sure, you know, you're utilizing, you know, your Terra Orbs and utilizing Terastallization at the right moment in the battle. Even if they lose, they can potentially pass if they're doing so at the right time. The problem with Roy in this battle was he was basically backed into a corner, and out of desperation, he used Terra Orb to Terastallize Fuecoco, which ended up backfiring because immediately Toxtricity pretty much just took out Fuecoco before it even had a chance to even try to attack it while it was, you know, Terastallized. And because of that, Ryme failed him because he did not do that correctly. That was not the point of the test. He did that out of desperation, so because of all that, he failed. Even though he did end up beating one of her Pokemon, which Dot couldn't do against Larry. The difference between, you know, Dot and Roy's battle is that Dot Terastallized her Pokemon at the right moment in the battle, and as such, she was able to pass her test. Whereas Roy didn't. So, that's why Roy both lost the battle and failed the test. Honestly, Roy definitely needs to take this rematch. Definitely think before he leaps next time against somebody because his track record is nasty. Yeah, it's not great, to say the least. I'm just saying, like, this loss, you could tell had a huge impact on Roy. Him losing, you know, in front of everybody like that and getting told he's a failure, that's pretty harsh, and that is going to hit home. So he's definitely going to pick himself up and find a way around this in the rematch. I'll be right back, guys. I need to, like, clear my throat and blow my nose. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Just let me get some water here and we should resume. We can resume. Much better. That was catching up to me really fast. I'm like, yeah, let me take care of that. Give me 1 second, y'all. Alright. Anyways, who do you think Ryme's gonna terastalize? At this point, unless things kind of turn around in the battle, more than likely Toxtricity. Houndstone's a possibility if like the roles flip in the rematch, but who knows? Huh. I think that's kind of BS, but at the same time, he needed to show development, so I kind of agree. The point in the battle too, is that and this is something that Nimona caught on to, is that when Roy and Fuecoco were doing their song, they were just doing it repetitively. Roy kind of was just not doing it, not thinking going into it, and as a result, it just Ryme was catching on to the fact that like was catching on to it, and that's what Ryme kind of exploited in the battle. So to me, it kind of makes sense that Roy kind of needs, a lesson here. He kind of needs he needs to learn what he's doing wrong, because he has taken a lot of L's in the series. Let's be honest. This one's easily his worst L at this point, because he's being told he's a failure. So this is where it's going to lead to some potentially good development for Roy, because Roy definitely needs some development here, and I like the fact that he's getting it. So I said it before, but I wanted one of them to fail one of their tests, because it can lead to good development. Ash has lost his gym battles in the past, and that's led to some pretty decent development for him. I always think about Pikachu versus Raichu from the original series. It's probably one of the best moments from the original series. But yeah. The red glow might just have been Blaze now that I think about it. Yeah, we'll see. That's why I'm wondering if because I've been thinking about it, kind of watching that preview and kind of how this episode went. I'm like, is Fuecoco gonna evolve here? Or could it potentially be, Blaze? It's a good point. That's why we have these discussions, because then we can, brainstorm and come up with ideas here for what could potentially happen. So, didn't even think about Blaze. So, that might actually be what's happening here. An evolution would be the cherry on top, though. Fuecoco and Kilowattrel needed to learn move or Fuecoco evolved to deserve a pass. I think Roy just needs to kind of realize his flaws and kind of build on from that. Kilowattrel definitely needs to redeem itself, because if it loses in the same manner in the rematch, I am not going to be happy. That could sour the episode right there. That alone, even if he wins the battle and passes. The song is like a chat code that isn't... cheat code? Cheat code that isn't real? Sure, it's the thing that brought him together. Oh, gotcha. But it's not glue. It can only carry them so far. That's exactly the point. I think the thing about it is, when Fuecoco was doing that, or Roy and Fuecoco were doing their song, one of the first people to notice that, this wasn't, working was Nimona. Being the battle-savvy person she is, she quickly caught on that, that's definitely not the way to go. There's definitely something wrong there. Fuecoco's win rate is 4 wins, 8 losses. Oof. I mean, granted, Fuecoco literally didn't even know how to use a single move in the beginning of the series, so it definitely needed to have some losses before it actually started winning, you know? At least it got 1 W here. And also, Roy did technically beat Moist Critical in the episode, so it wasn't a total failure for Roy. Honestly, I hope he's not gonna be the comic relief starter for this show. Yeah, I mean, he's had his time in the spotlight, but, like, we kind of want to see the little guy, you know, continue to develop. I really think it would be neat if this becomes the first series that has all 3 starters fully evolve. And out of the 3, Fuecoco's the one that's had the most development, literally. I will stress that to the end of the day, it has literally grown the most, and it's the one that hasn't evolved. And I get that this arc is about them, you know, getting stronger and, you know, getting their Terra Orbs and stuff. That's the purpose of this arc, is them, you know, building themselves up and, you know, being able to take on stronger Pokemon in the future, trainers in the future. But yeah, oof. Sometimes you need to lose before you win, you know. Yeah, there's something else I was going to say. Yeah, because as of right now, we only know of next week's episode and then the Liko versus Grusha episode. Nothing beyond that at this moment. I know there's going to be an episode airing the first week of September, but we don't know from there on. We'll probably go on until the end of the arc and then take a week or 2 break like we normally do and then go on to Chapter 4. I'm curious to see what comes next, what direction they take. Fuecoco's just taking its time. He's trying his best, you know. He's gotten a lot better, though. But if he activates Blaze, oh my gosh. What if that just leads to the evolution? Like I said earlier, if he activates Blaze, that's one thing, but the cherry on top would definitely be him evolving. Yeah, at least find a way to overcome toxicity. I'm nervous. I don't think we've seen Kilowattrel training at all. We haven't. That's the problem. If there's one thing that I wish this series did was actually showcase more training. We have seen Roy train before, but, like, it's been in spurts. If there's one thing that I think the prior Pokemon anime did better than what Horizons portrays, it's, like, training. But the preview for the next week's episode, obviously they're training beforehand, but it should be more kind of normal in the episodes where you see, like, Roy, Fuecoco, Kilowattrel, or whatever, just doing some warm-up training or whatever. That would just show progress, you know? It shows that they are working towards it, and it would feel kind of earned. I just wish the characters did that more. It's kind of like the other week when Tinkatink had its first gym battle, and they noted, oh, this is its first actual battle. You know, it technically had that battle against Orthworm, but, like, as, you know, under Dot, it was its first actual battle, and I'm like, Dot, did you not train it? And then you saw the results. It did okay until it lost. But yeah. I just kind of want to see that more in the series. I feel like they aren't teaching terastallizing properly. The point of using terastallizing is to utilize the secondary type and making a disadvantage an advantage, like Brassius and Roy's first battle. That is a good point. I think people wanted to see like different typings for the characters instead of them being like, oh, it's Fuecoco. Well, it's got a fire type Terastal. It can use fire type terastallization. I'm wondering if maybe that's intentional. Like, they are doing it so that it's like, okay, these are the basics. And then, like, hey, we're going to implement this into your, like, final test where it's like, okay, you're going to have different types now. Be sure to pay attention to that when we have, like, our final test or our final battles or whatever. You know, I just had a thought that popped in my head. What if the final test for Liko, Roy, and Dot is to go up against some veteran trainers at the academy, and then those said veteran trainers are like Nemona, Penny, and Arven, and that's how Arven is brought into the series. Like Nemona versus Roy, or Roy versus Nemona for sure. Dot versus Penny, and then Liko versus Arven. I think that'd be pretty cool, but probably not going to happen. Just a thought. And that's like their final test. Did you know that it took Fuecoco until Season 2 to get his first win? Yeah, that makes sense. He needed to grow a lot in the beginning. He did not know any moves in the beginning, and he slowly gained new moves over time. So him losing a lot in the beginning makes sense. At least he's getting some W's here and there now. Imagine Nemona has Palmont grab Fuecoco and just double stock him on full blast, and he just has to endure the pain and get through it to overcome discharge. I think it was. Ooh, that's rough. I definitely want better Terras. Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe that's intentional. If it's not, then yeah, that could, potentially, kind of hurt this. Bring this arc down a point. Who knows? But at the same time, their middle stages don't have a secondary type, so maybe they're waiting until they fully evolve. That is also another point. I just suggested that, hey, maybe they're just doing this as like, these are your basic orbs, but hey, you can use this orb and you can turn your Spiritito into, a dragon type or something, you know what I mean? That could be intentional, but who knows? It's just a thought. That makes a lot of sense. It'd be cool to see Arven. Yeah, it just popped in my head. I'm like, you know what? That would actually be that would make the most sense for the characters, but Arven has to be introduced. But I'm going to emphasize, like I've been emphasizing this whole time, Mabostiff. It was on that poster and it still hasn't shown up yet. So, yeah. Stellar would be pointless, honestly. Just one stab boost per move. I never was a big fan of the Stellar type, I'm not gonna lie. That was actually, one of the things that... I think that was one of my biggest letdowns from, the DLC from Scarlet and Violet, because I was expecting more from Terapagos and Stellar type and stuff, and yeah... I don't know, I kind of felt it was all underwhelming. And this is where Horizons can make up for that underwhelmingness. How do you feel about this series? You mean as a whole? I enjoy it. I think that the series is good for the most part. It definitely has its frustrations and flaws. I think its flaws are not as bad as the prior series flaws, if that makes sense. That being said, I don't think this series has had quite as many highs as the prior series. It's had some really solid episodes and some really solid moments, but some of the best from the prior series, I think, still kind of out-edges it. Though I think there's a lot more bad in that series than good, so that kind of brings it down as a whole. Speaking of Pokemon, is this Pokemon? Yes, it is. It's Hoenn music. Roy needs a ghost type move. Terra. To it goes. Shadow Ball down the road. That's the one move I have on my Skillydirge and my run through of Scarlet and Violet. Shadow Ball. Besides Torch Song and some other moves it has. Honestly, I want a Terra Fairy for Fuecoco because it's gonna be immune to Rayquaza. Ray. I was a little confused when you said that. I'm like, who are you talking about? Ray and boost disarming voice, and B, it's good for Skeledirge for resistances. Good points. How do you watch Pokemon Horizons Terastal debut? You mean what I use? So I don't really like to talk about it too much publicly because I don't think they want their stuff exposed, but I use some stuffs. They're basically a group that does fan subs. Not just for Pokemon, there's other series. For some reason they do One Piece and JoJo. I don't think One Piece really needs fan subs though. But they do it anyways. But Pokemon's a big one. We used to have a different group that did the subs for Pokemon back in the day, and they dropped off after Sun and Moon. But yeah, all you do for what some stuff has is they have their site. You just go there. You have to download a torrent bit application or app and put it on your computer or PC or whatever you use. It's super easy at that point. You just go there, you click on it, and it does it for you, and then it automatically shows up in your downloads. And then boom, you got the episode. Super simple, and you got the subs. I thought it was going to be a lot harder back when I installed it, but it ended up being super simple, so yeah. Comp players and use Fairy for that reason. I'm always looking at everything through a comp lens. I need help. I used to be so casual about battles. Now I practically can't look at a Mon without thinking the best moves, nature, ability, Terra, all that. Gotcha. I guess I'm a little different because I'm more of a casual Pokemon player. I'm not in the Pokemon competitive. I just play the games. Well, yeah. I'm more of a fan of the first 5 generations of Pokemon games. After that, I'm kind of just very hit and miss with it. That being said, Legends Arceus is probably the best Pokemon game on Switch. I hope Agate actually does something in the future in the series. She's a pretty boring character. I do think she will mega her Medicham in the future. It's just the thing is, it's not so much that she's boring. She just hasn't really been involved in the series. She's probably the least involved admin of the explorers. You know, we see Songo and her shenanigans. Onyx is usually with Songo, and he bounces off of her very well. And then And Amethio obviously is Gibeon's grandson, so he's going to be a major player in the future. Spinel is going to be a major player because he potentially might be betraying the Explorers, and he's already had sufficient screen time, and yeah, there's a lot going on there. But Agate, she just hasn't had a lot. Her potential right now is that she has, infiltrated the academy, so there's that. Like I said, it's only a matter of time before Penny catches on to the fact that the Explorers got in there by, not so legal means. Hey. Chrono Cross music. She just uses a printer to photocopy the entire Scarlet Book and then faxes the papers to headquarters. There you go. You really think Spinel will betray the Explorers? I mean, he's kind of doing things that I would argue already is kind of going against the Explorers. Not to mention him and Amethio have beef. Not to mention Amethio is pursuing him currently because he went off with the Vercunium. Not to mention he withheld information back in episode 16 it was. The dude is, the dude kind of seems to be kind of operating on his own terms. I think there's a high chance that he'll betray the Explorers. If he doesn't, then that would be kind of surprising. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more mutiny in the Explorers, like if Agate ends up siding with him or something like that. That could actually be potentially interesting. So, that's all for the future, though. What moves did Ryme's Toxtricity use in episode 61? We can look that up. Overdrive was overwhelmingly used in the battle. That was like the one thing that was overwhelming Fuecoco the entire time. Looking on Bulbapedia. Toxtricity, use Overdrive, Boom Burst, Hex, and Venoshock. With the ability Punk Rock. I highly doubt I don't see a motive for him betraying them. I think Amethio has a 90% of leaving the Explorers. He's not a villain. Okay, but like again, I'm just gonna emphasize the fact that he kinda is doing things against the Explorers' wishes. Again, he's withheld information, and he currently ran off with the Vercunium from back in episode 54. What I think it was. And Amethio is currently pursuing him, so he's kind of spying up on him to see what he's up to. So if he's not betraying the Explorers, then like why is he like doing all this shady stuff and kind of dancing around the Explorers? That would be my only thing. Anyway, escape from the city. He even said they had plans for Rayquaza when they summoned it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that makes me wonder what the dude has in store. Like, what is he plotting? Is it for the sake of the Explorers, or is it for his own means? Man, this cold is just messing me up. But yeah, I'm curious because like I think that there is going to be something that comes out from the whole Amethio. Is his current mission now is he's keeping an eye on Spinel. So I kind of feel like that needs to kind of amount to something. If he turns out he's like, oh, I just was giving it to Master Givian just for like his approval over yours, Amethio, then I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of underwhelming, if you ask me. Honestly, this feels like a guy who got in with the right people and has the means to get what he needs easily now via them. That's kind of the vibe I got from him. I see the Explorers as an independent contractors. I think he's going to deliver Requiem. I don't think he's keeping it for himself. In episode 15, he told all the information was in his report. Well, yeah, but wasn't there certain things he didn't even bring up to them? I'm gonna have to go back and look that up, but I'm pretty sure in episode 16 he didn't report everything and was currently holding back and doing separate research without reporting it to the Explorers. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought that was the case. I'll have to go back and look and rewatch the episode to release that part. Do you think Roy will win against Ryme after seeing the preview to episode 62? He has a strong possibility of winning this time, but it's going to depend on how the episode goes. It's really hard to say. I don't want to say he's going to win for sure, but like I feel like him not winning would not be the right move to make. He said everything was in his report, but that does not mean that he's... It doesn't mean he's not withholding information still, dude. I ship Spinel and Agate. I'll go back and rewatch it just to make sure that I'm remembering correctly. Let me actually look him... Does he have an article on... Oh, of course he has an article on Bulbapedia. What am I saying? Spinel. Okay, I'm just going to read some stuff just to see if I can find some concrete information. Honestly, bro, could have wrote anything on that document. Who knows? That is true. Okay, he all right, this is what happened. I figured it out. He did not submit information that he refused to submit unverified information, so he was withholding information. He wanted to do a little bit more research before submitting it. He said he then stepped out of his van and looked out over the ocean, musing that he could not submit unverified information expressing his own curiosity and the truth behind Liko and the pendant. So there's some clear information that he was withholding information. And then episode 54 it says Zerk and Konia were actually monitoring him and he didn't realize it. And Amethio suspected he's planning something. So that kind of tells me that, yes, he might have some ulterior motives. We'll see. Yo, T. Henry 12, what's up? How are you doing? It was a good wake-up call for Roy. He relies on power and speed like Ash did. My only gripe was Kilowattrel was one-shotted. I do hope they focus on the second Pokemon development soon enough. Me too! I've said this... I'll repeat this one more time, but One of my biggest gripes with Horizons right now is the hyper focus on the starters. I get that they're the main mascots of the games, but Liko, Roy, and Dot have caught another Pokemon, so like, do something with them. Like, what's gonna happen if they end up catching a third Pokemon down the road? Like, these Pokemon need some development too, so I hope it does something in the future. Tinkatink really needs something next too. After seeing the episode, I did like the first half, but the second half was really rushed. Fuecoco's toxicity, that was a whole lot better, and it brings Ryme strength. The first half is fine. It's a little slow for my taste, I guess. It had its funny moments, like the Grievards, like draining Liko, Roy, and Dot's life force. That was funny. Terapagos getting itself into danger once again. I just feel like more time could have been spent to the actual battle, if you know what I mean. Spino wants to be the next Volo, Cyrus, or Lysander. He's been playing too many of those games, and he's coming up with some random plots from all of them. He's been influenced. Guess we'll see what he's gonna do. I'm gonna hop off. I'm going to hop. I am in the shower. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Alright, thank you for joining, Kevin. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for joining again. That's why I don't think they should be catching until Sinnoh, the second part of Terastal, of course. That's like starting to develop them more. Yep, that's what I keep saying. That's why when people were disappointed that Roy didn't catch Frigbex in the previous episode, I was like, they usually like focus in on the Pokemon. That's like the focal point of the episode, and the summary didn't even indicate anything for that. It clearly was kind of focusing more on Roy and Fuecoco, so I knew that capture wasn't happening. But if a capture is going to happen, it's going to be after this arc. That's why I keep saying Chapter 4, I would look to that for potential captures. Also, them catching Pokemon from other regions would be kind of neat. Before I forget, how do y'all think Tinkatink's hammer will change if she evolves? Because the game dex entry says Tinkatuff kills Pain and Bisharp, and I really think we're not going to go there. Oh, probably not. Or they'll dance around it. Who knows? Tinkatink does need development next now. It's like the next Pokemon in line for development, but Kilowattrel, please do something here soon. Please. I'm begging you. On my hands and knees begging. We'll see. So guys, we're about a little over an hour into the stream. I'm kind of feeling under the weather today. We can go on for a little bit longer though, but just if you want to still chit chat, leave your chats in the chat, and also like the video if you haven't already. We're almost at 10 likes. It'd be pretty cool if we hit 10 by the end of the video or the end of the stream. Just one more. We've done it. Can we do it? Can we do it? Also, let me see the poll really quickly. 8-7 is winning. 6-5 has a pretty decent amount of votes too, and one person seems to have voted 9-10. Captures from other regions would be nice. Yeah, that's what I would like. I would like captures from other regions. It was nice that Liko has one Galar Pokemon and one Paldean Pokemon, but like, give her like a Sinnohmon or like a Jodomon or something like that. That'd be cool. If you need to hop off, that's fine. I understand what it feels like to not want to do something anymore and be sick. I don't mind continuing. It's just, I'm just not feeling well, bro. And it's so random, too. I don't normally get colds during the summer. I don't even remember the last time I got sick in the summer, dude. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I have gotten sick in the summer before, but it very rarely happened. It just very random, very weird. Oh well, I'll be over it here soon, hopefully. Yeah, does anyone else have anything else to chat about? Maybe sleeping with the AC fan. Happens to me sometimes. Yeah, that's the thing about it is it's kind of overwhelmingly hot and humid. So kind of have to have the air and AC on. That being said, it's a little bit cooler today where I'm at. But yeah. Anywho, guys, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes, and if there's nothing else, we can probably bring this stream to a close. I'll just say again, if we can get one more like, if you haven't liked the video or stream yet, that'd be pretty cool if you dropped a like. I mean, obviously, if you liked the video already, you've already done your part. But if we get one more, that would be cool. But yeah, I don't really have anything else regarding these episodes. Since we're kind of running out of episodes now. We're kind of running out of things to talk about, just because we only know of 2 episodes now. No titles or summaries for anything for episodes airing in September. We'll probably be getting that in the next week or 2, though. Some Zelda music is nice, though. Anything else? Well, I don't have got much episode stuff left anymore, but I will say, in good news, I can't wait for new Spike's Family Mission Report book. Looks interesting. Also need to pick up Volume 12. Nice. Season 3 will be out here next year, so be ready for that. I know I am. But yeah, I'm pretty much out of material for the rest of the video now. You know what? Yep. But yeah, if there's nothing else, I guess we can probably bring things to a close here. So, I need to get over this cold, man. Probably gonna go eat lunch. I need to eat something too once I find the energy to, move around. But yeah, Pokefan, I'll at you on Discord whenever I want to chat in DMs for like a little bit, but I'll just let you know probably when I'm feeling a little bit better. But yeah, last call for chats. For anyone else out there that wants to say anything before we go, you got something? This is the last minute. Just giving you 1 minute. Matt's actually been kind of quiet in his room. He usually comes out like once, at least one time, but he hasn't come out at all. He's probably in the middle of a raid and FF14 or something. Alright, we got about 15 more seconds. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close the poll down. We got 13 votes. Majority said 8-7. That got 62% of the votes. 10-9 only got 1 vote, 8%, and then 6-5 got 30%, which is a pretty decent chunk. I'd say it's more like 31%, 62%, but whatever. But yeah, I guess we can give this episode like a 7. So overall, to me, I'm still kind of conflicted on this one. I think that it's a good thing for Roy's development. This is definitely something he needed. That is probably the main takeaway for this episode, for me at least. Kilowattrel should have been treated better. Something needs to be done there, and fast. And soon, rather. First half of the episode was okay, kind of funny shenanigans, but yep, main problem is Kilowattrel and how it was taken out, so let's give the episode a solid 7 out of 10. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Alright guys, I need to rest now. I would stream a little bit longer, but I just simply don't feel well. So I'm gonna rest now, maybe find some food or something here. And yeah, anyways guys, if you're still here, thank you so much for joining. We'll be doing probably Skyward Sword on Monday. Go back to doing that 2 times a week, maybe 3, we'll see. But yeah, it's all for now. So if you're still here, thank you so much for joining. Have a great day or night wherever you're at, and I'll see you all later. Bye.